I also want to talk to you about the IPO buzz which was on the Lal Street, and of course it has all turned out to be fairly well, at least for not just Groww but also for PhysicsWallah. In fact, PhysicsWallah has made a strong debut yesterday. The Edtech firm's shares have settled 44% higher than the IPO price, closing at about 157 rupees or so on the NSE, and that's ending about 8% above the opening price. Now, so of course PhysicsWallah is one part of the story. There's also the story of Groww, and Groww has also seen massive gain. In fact, I was reading that as much as 94% gain ever since it listed, and just yesterday alone the Groww stock was up. In fact, it ended the day about 7% higher, and this was the 5th day of trading gains since its IPO, which was listed, which was in fact was announced for subscription at 100 rupees. It has grown more than 90%, and this has overall taken the market cap of Groww to about 1.1 lakh crore rupees or so. So Avinash, this IPO season has been absolutely fantastic. Not just Lenskart, which started off with so much controversy around it, but eventually sort of, held on to its own. And then we've seen Groww, and now we're seeing PhysicsWallah. What should the retail investor strategy be when it comes to participating in the IPO market and then staying put with those stocks that they get?
No, I think Kartik, any investor who's made 90% gain in a stock like Groww in just about 7 or 8 days, I think should consider himself very lucky.
Okay.
Because I think 90% gain in such a short period warrants that at least some part of the profit should be encashed. Because beyond a particular level, you're going to see a little bit of profit booking also coming in.
Right.
The law of gravity always says that whatever goes up and goes down very fast actually corrects also very quickly. And PhysicsWallah, of course, is a very niche business, a very strong business model. And I think, one thing which I would like to tell your viewers is that don't go by the oversubscription levels. PhysicsWallah was subscribed by just about 2 times, but still it got a good response because the business inherently is very good. I think at this level also, if investors take at least a 12 to 18-month call, I think good money can be made in a company like PhysicsWallah. As far as Groww is concerned, I think at least book partial profit because, at some point of time, you could be seeing a little bit of selling pressure also.
But do you think this case, and I want to come back to Groww specifically, do you think this course of 90% higher from listing day, was it a case of the company actually undervaluing itself partly? While I understand that there could be some profit booking now with a 90% gain in 7 days, which to my sort of memory is unheard of. But do you think the company, maybe when it went in for IPO, was undervalued and did not really realize its true potential?
No, I think the IPO was fairly priced, Kartik. I think at 100 rupees, it was a bargain. I think considering the fact that it's the #1 online broker ahead of Zerodha. And most importantly, the markets are giving it a premium for the simple reason that they believe that incremental client additions for Groww are going to be much better than Zerodha and the other online players. And I think Groww has also commented very clearly. The management has said that they are not going to just do retail broking. They're also looking at very high niche areas, profitable segments like wealth management. So, all these things are making the investors, especially the large, investors are quite excited about the growth prospects of the company. Plus, the management is very aggressive. It's a young management which has scaled up the business very well. But as everyone is aware, Kartik, at some point of time, a stock which moves up from 100 to 180 or 190 in just about 6-7 days, we might see a little bit of corrective, kind of price correction. Nevertheless, we are positive on the longer term, but in the short term, definitely some profit booking could be expected.
All right. And final question on PhysicsWallah. Of course, you were mentioning that, of course, this sector, if you look at PhysicsWallah, it comes from that Edtech sector and potentially among the only sort of profitable, thriving companies, given the fact that we all remember what happened with Byju's, even though now there are new players in the fray and some old players in the fray to pick up whatever is left of Byju's. But given that this sector was marred in controversy, was marred with the ethics issues, the fact that a company like PhysicsWallah has pretty much impressed the Lal Street and impressed investors, what should the strategy really be for investors? Do you see a massive upside in scaling up operations for PhysicsWallah, given that pandemic is now pretty much long forgotten history?
No, I think, see, Kartik, the pandemic obviously opened up a lot of doors for online companies. But I think if you look at the content and the pricing strategy which PhysicsWallah has adopted, they are one of those players which have priced their products very competitively. They approach the mass market with a clear focus on content. And I think, at the end of the day, they have managed to actually get into the pockets of the online community, which is a mass market for them. So my sense is that over the next 2 years, the management has clearly indicated that there are many more new initiatives which the management would like to do on the online side, introduce new products, introduce new kind of, revenue kind of streams for them. So to that extent, somebody who wants to take a longer term call, at least the next 12 to 18 months, of course, the management has to deliver on the numbers. Once the stock gets listed, the market should be looking at every quarter number. So I think if the management delivers on the numbers and if they keep up to the expectation, then I think definitely some further re-rating is possible. But I think look at it from a medium to long term.
All right, a medium to long-term perspective is warranted on PhysicsWallah. Avinash, Gorakshakar, that's all we have time for, but a fantastic conversation, and thank you so much for your time with us this morning.